Perfect. Welcome to the realm of Millenia. Here today, be a man, woman, child, spirit, creature, demon, be ye. Native, migrator, or even an invader here into the realm. I welcome you, be an entity of any one of the coils. Welcome, for I am your Millennium Mailman here today, be your host and guide as I help you get into the rhythm of world building here. As I world build for you, if you will. Because I'll be world building long after you've already begun to acclimate and fit in. So sit back, relax. It is Theatrical Thursday. But we could also just call it Theater Thursday, because today I'm going to weave you a tale, if you will. Because I already did 2-3 videos for Tonell Skelly this week, so might as well make the week about him, the edition, right? So the hot take of the week was that a lot of these society issues are really just, or at least what's being labeled as society issues, are just a bunch of personal problems that people eventually label as society issues because they don't want it to be overlooked or overseen or underrated. When in all honesty, it should be seen for what it is. And a lot of your personal issues get seen as personal issues, but you want to make it everyone's problem. Hey, chill out. Right? So a lot of my characters in general are a bunch of personal problem people who, depending on the number of people who can relate to it, might get seen as a whole society woven with issues, when it's really the society's fine, it's the people who are progressively worse and worse, and what's one being worse than the next one. Because there's always someone who's got it worse and always someone who's got whole life better than yours. You're never going to be the very pinnacle or the very bottom. Even the very pinnacle and very bottom have people they think is better than them and people who's genuinely far worse than them. Be either end of this far exposure, right? Because there's no greater sin than the sin of comparison. When you start comparing, it's like, it's just a never-ending repercussive cycle that you get in of perpetuality when you try to compare to others. Because you might think you're always better or always worse, and others might think you're always better or worse than them, and so on and so forth as we move on this line of comparison and trying to label things perfectly, right? It's a whole bunch of personal issue people who recognize it's their own thing to get over in a society that is genuinely just fine. You might consider it dystopian, if you will, but it's just normal. It's a normal society, and no one, I won't say no one, and as a whole, all the people involved don't blame society, they blame themselves and the parts the people play to making society look the way it looks, right? And this is Jackie Tonell Skelly, okay? Jackie Tonell Skelly, this identity crisis individual, if you will, who has this duality in his life. It comes from this innate space within him about how really raw emotions are and can be, right? That's why he eventually grows this developmental side character within himself who comes out and is eventually called Devil's Advocate, right? And for a lot of my characters, really, I make their description of their attire, of their wear, and what they wear and how they wear it to be really generic at times. And for specific characters, I will address, they always have to have this like one thing on their person or in their uniform, be it a color, be it a particular item like a brooch, because that is something pivotal to what formed them and how they are here today in this moment, right? That certain thing, be it this, that, or even the style, but only one thing about that character is ever really specific throughout the novel. One thing about how they're wearing their clothes, how they're wearing their clothes and what they're wearing eventually changes from it started as this, now it's absolutely this, and now it's going there, right? The subtlety of their character design comes in these particular things. Like for Jackie Tonell Skelly, it's something akin to a brooch, an item that's always on his person no matter what he's wearing, right? It's not how he's wearing his outfit, how he's slunched over and this and that. It's the feel, it's the vibe of what exactly he has on. The brooch, this pendant, if you will, right? Because that token is a pivotal aspect of him as a character. While for another character, it might be how he wears his clothes. He or she never wears anything less than baggy attire, always stretched out attire, because this is something like that. Never wearing anything that's not ragged, rickety, or patched up, like displaying like their poverty. No matter how rich they are, they always wear ragged, hand-me-down clothes because of something. It's the very particular subtleties in how they look and what they look like. So even when I intend to put Jackie Tonell Skelly into the main narrative, because again, this is a side character in my side character novel, when I eventually do put him in there, I'm not going to really describe too much about him as much as I particularly describe that main thing about him along with his name. So I will let everyone know his name and his alias he's go bys, but I won't necessarily always describe what his face looks like, other than like an emotion, an expressive thing about it, or often describe what clothes he's wearing, because the clothes can change, that anything and everything about it can change. That I do not care, right? It's just the particular things about each character, that little thing right there that might sometimes be overlooked, but you can't, because that is the thing that tells you this character is this character, right? And that thing for Jackie Tonell Skelly, who has that side character, devil's advocate in his mind, is this flower ornamental pendant he always has on no matter what he's saying. You can kind of think of it kind of like a mafia boss or some generic person going into the office in a suit, tie. They always have that little napkin or whatever. The handkerchief that's always in that little chest pocket above the heart. For Jackie Tonell Skelly, it is a little flower ornamental, that decorative ornamental here, right? And what he often does is that he'll tell people it's a mood flower, because you can often see it changing colors. You'll see him pass it to others, and it'll always turn from its usual like red, pinkish, white colors to straight black. So just imagine me here. Here's my ornamental flower here in the chest pocket. Oh, that's a lovely flower you got there. And you're like, yeah, here you go. Right? Turns from its usual vibrant colors to straight black. We'll give it to him and start his little exposition, as he always describes it as being tied to the soul of the holder, right? So it's tied to the soul of the one that takes kinetic energy from. So you must be in confusion or some sort of disarray for it to be turning black like this. Or maybe it could even be just sort of some premonition of tragedy. Or maybe just the flowers dying. More than likely it's you dying pretty soon, but you know what, just let me see it back. Give me the flower back. I want to see if the flower's dying or if just you're dying. He'll take it back, and it turns from that black color to the usual stable colors. Oh yeah, it's definitely a premonition of you dying, because my flower is absolutely fine. Puts it right back in his pocket and goes on. right? He'll take it back and instantly it leaves your grasp. It changes from that black color to other more vibrant, living, pulsing, breathing, voluptuous, life-bringing red and other hues before settling back into whatever the usual color spectrum is. Yep, suggest you get yourself your own flower so you can really see the soul connection of the flower session. And that's just how you get to understand about the flower, right? This is a brief description. I have in my mind a whole bigger expose about the flower and how important it is. That probably takes up its own full page, but that's just like the bit, right? So he does that, and people all the time go trying to figure out what this flower is, what's the real name of it, try to find it, try to buy it, because he just warned them, oh, I must be about to die soon. Something's really concerned here. Something's wrong, right? So they try to find it. No one ever does, clearly, obviously, right? But there ends up being this one person, right? This one person, as always, one person who can always eventually figure out the truth. And they're describing it to this old, wise person, if you will, trying to talk about it in discussion. Oh, what sounds like what you're describing is what is known to be the soul seed. It was only ever known to really grow regularly in one place, but you can find it almost anywhere if you're lucky enough. It was plucked by the nation where it naturally grew around, and always plucked by the frontline warriors and given to the families of those frontline warriors because the spectrum of colors reveals the person who plucked it, specifically the person who picked it, right? It reveals the joy, the suffering, the stability, or even waning of one's life. Black only pops up when the soul or the person is being corrupted or possessed and replaced, and white only really comes up when the body itself is empty like a husk, because they're like going into a coma or just kind of in like a limbo of determination and will, right? And then it'll only shed its shed its petals and shed its thorns and its stem and its leaves and whatnot. It'll only do that shrink when the person who plucked it is dead or dying. The flower itself will like grow when the bond that person whose soul the flower is bonded to is like has a growing will to die for something really specific. It's like, I'm ready to die for the nation. I'm on my dying stand. The flower itself will grow while shredding petals because this person is building up into something bigger, like something big and risky. And they, in their soul and their heart, know that this is risky and I'll probably die, but I am determined to still do it anyway, right? So the families would get these flowers in this nation because, like, hey, this is probably the best way for us to know, like, what's going on with him. If he's captured by the enemy warriors and frontiermen, we'll see him get tortured and see the pain he's going through. If he's fighting on that front line, or they're actually in a tense situation, we will see that because the colors will reveal his emotions and what he's going through, whether he's winning, whether he's losing, whether, like, what's going on. If he goes missing, the frontline people will send him back. Is he dead? Because we can assume he's dead because we don't have him, but so long as you still have his flowers, we can say missing in action and we can go try to find him. If you give us the flower, we'll go use this flower to track this person down, right? So, yeah. Dying, ready for self-sacrifice. And then that person who's giving this episode is like, hey, tell me what did when did you encounter this flower that you're trying to look for? I want to see it. It's been so long since I've seen a flower like that, right? Revealing that this old person actually was closely involved with that flower. Like, hey, what did that flower do when you ran into it? I want to see it. What happened? And she'll say, well, when I touched the flower, it turned black, but when I gave it back to the person, it had colors in it. It's like, oh, interesting. Right? So that's kind of like the little expose and reveal of how you get to come to understand and know about his little flower trinket, right? Because that flower thing is the little reveal of him as a personal character, right? So again, seeing how the week 4 Storytime Saturday was on Devil's Advocate, all of that story is true for this character, Jackie Tonell Skelly, right? Where he's such a mentally distressed individual going through all these conflicting thoughts and emotions, where he had one of the worst empathetically feeling backstories that really drive emotions and appeal from others, to developing and trying to progress past that just to see and feel more negative reinforcements until he finds this girl. Her name is Advocate, right? This girl, she's an advocate of the Advocate family. I don't know, right? He meets this girl, she's an advocate of the Advocate family, and she advocates for him and his thoughts and opinions and makes him feel good. He gets positive reinforcements interacting with her. He doesn't necessarily love her like that or anything, but he feels emotionally validated, right? And that allows him to progress on and actually be more productive and a better person, right? And then she dies, and that's what turns him into this perpetually emotionless, and more of a husk for the Devil's Advocate to control. Because it's like everything, the only thing in life that ever validated me is gone. So I'm never going to receive validation ever again. So go ahead. I can either unalive myself, or I can effectively be dead and just let you, the Devil's Advocate, possess me and see what you do, and if you ever get positive reinforcement that where I never got those positive reinforcements. So he does that. So now, with all that we know and recognize, Jackie Tonell Skelly, he has this flower, and you can kind of assume that as this story progresses that he and Miss Advocate has one too, right? So here we get into the Theater Thursday, the cinematic Thursday aspect of it, because with this being kind of like the background of the character, what I'm now going to get into is, imagine this on like as a TV show, as a TV series, or even like a hour and a half, 2 hour movie film. So we understand his backstory and how he is as a character, right? We know about his flower that makes him just display him, and it really allows you to identify him in a crowd, right? We have this, we have that, we have that. Now here we are in episode 2 or whatever, and trying to get to understand it deeper, and we realize, okay, so that's the flower, that's his thing. Obviously he plucked a flower, or someone else plucked a flower, and he now has it. This is someone else's flower, or maybe even his flower for some reason. Like, why would he have his own flower? Right? Maybe it's like a medical thing. Because like if I had a flower that revealed whether or not I'm dying or not, I think it would be pretty easy to know if I had cancer or not if I had a flower like that that just revealed the inner truth of myself, right? Tied to the soul and body. Yeah, that would be sick. That would be awesome. So maybe it's his. Maybe it's his. Maybe it's someone else's. episode 2 you find out this and that, and you kind of come to understand, like, hey, maybe he traded his flower with this girl, this lady, Miss Advocate. Maybe, now that we got kind of like this little backstory shot of him being with her, maybe, whatever. And the audience is shown that he got his own flower before, and thus verifying that when it changes, it's most likely his own emotions here. Because like we saw a flashback clip of him picking the flower as the old lady was doing her little montage and expose on it. So we saw like the past of him picking up the flower, and it's like, okay, so it could be his, but wouldn't it be like one of the frontline warriors or something? Like, wouldn't it be given to someone else unless his whole family is dead? Oh, right. And again, I make a whole lot of side characters, so from a certain perspective in the TV series or whatever, you could just make a couple episodes of the main characters in opposition to Skelly, to his devil's advocate side, because that's all anyone should really be seeing anymore, the devil's advocate, right? Right? Where through various letters and stuff, because effectively devil's advocate is like a villain in someone's main storyline, but seeing how this show is about Skelly, Jackie Tonell Skelly, we see it from his perspective. And while there is like this main character whole synopsis going on over here, this is the perspective of Jackie Tonell Skelly, where Jackie Tonell Skelly is total 100% a villain in the main storyline, but we can, through his TV series, understand why he's not necessarily the villain. He's just a villain to the main characters, right? So he's constantly in opposition to these people because he's the devil, right? He's in his little shop. He's some sort of shop owner, just working here constantly, and then anytime his shop is closed, he's out there being antagonist to the protagonist. Right, so there's episodes of those main characters in opposition with Jackie Tonell Skelly, the devil's advocate, in the present day, and they're finding out all these letters and hearing rumors here and hearing rumors there as they try to figure out ways to defeat the devil's advocate here. And they verify that the flowers and him are pretty much one and the same, and they come to a certain potential conclusion, like, hey, maybe there was some trading of the stuff between Jackie Tonell Skelly and Addie, Miss Advocate. So maybe the flower isn't really showing his life, it's showing hers. Maybe, gee whiz. So they go under this whole assortment of events where they try to figure out whether this flower is showing his life or her life, and they ultimately determine like it's probably still like a flower showing her life, but he's turned it into some sort of Horcrux that has part of his soul in it too. So ultimately we just have to destroy him and the flower at the same time. Otherwise he might just come back because his flower still is there. Right? Then we jump more on to episodes of Skelly and the main characters interacting yet again, in the light and in the dark, interacting and just further validating these facts till the main story climax. Climax is just verifying the fact that the flower does reveal very much his own emotions. This flower is not anyone else's. This flower is definitely his. It's definitely specifically his flower, right? Again, present day, we main characters, we big brained it. It took us like 37 million hours of screen time to figure it out, but this flower is definitely his flower. It's gotta be his flower. There's no way, don't even say anything else. Please shut up. It's his flower, it's his Horcrux. the flower Horcrux, we're going with this idea. It's still a flower, it's still a Horcrux, it's still its normal purpose, plus extra purpose. Destroy it, destroy him, same time, and we're good. Any oppositions? Any oppositions? That's right, put your hand down. We're destroying them both simultaneously and we'll be good. We can get back to the main storyline with this side character villain, the two-piece lame-o. I'm sick of it. Stay over there. Stop. Please. We're destroying, there's nuclear bombing. We're nuclear bombing any and everything. Stop it. You're going to be in the center of that blast right next to the devil's advocate. If you keep talking, man, you're ruining me up. Let's try this and then we'll talk about something else. Jesus. Right? So, again, you have this interaction between Jack, Tonell, Skelly, the devil's advocate, and the main characters in the present day, where the main characters have already figured out, okay, Addie or advocate, she's already dead, so it's definitely got to be like his flower. It can't be anyone else's because she's already dead. It would have like kind of evaporated and disintegrated or whatnot. So it can't be hers, it's definitely his. Let's get rid of all these other comments and stuff, focus on how do we get rid of him in this flower. And then all be all, final 2 episodes, they're able to kill off little Jackie, Tonell, Skelly, because lo and behold, it's Jackie, Tonell, Skelly is a side character. I don't know he's a side character. He's a villain. He's a villain in the main storyline. He's a villain, right? And as Jackie's dying, effectively in these last 2 episodes of his episodes, we come to understand that effectively these last 2 episodes are just of his flashbacks and the full story that the main characters couldn't quite wrap their heads around and understand, right? So in these final 2 episodes of straight flashback as he's dying before his flower evaporates because he's croaked his last bucket to kick. As Jackie is dying, we get that flashback of him watching the flower wither in his hand, right? We're resuming his flashbacks from a point in time where he's in his shop regular and whatnot. He's in his shop, or maybe he's just got it. He just got the shop, right? And he's just marveling at this girl, Addie, who's eventually moved away from him, his only sort of validation. And he's watching it as he thinks back to when she gave it to him and is like, hey, let's trade flowers. This way you can know that I'm good, I'm safe, you don't have to worry so much, and I'll be fine. And anytime I think of it, I can consider like sending you a news coup letter or whatever, because I want you to be happy. But I'm getting married now, so I'm not even going to really entertain this as much between us because I'm about to be married. I like him. I like his money. I like this and that. It's like, it's whatever, man, but I do think about you. I do care about you, and I want you to have a better life because your emotions kind of like finicky and stupid. You're an idiot. Right? And he appreciates that. So they trade flowers, and he's now staring at this flower like, man, it's been so long since I've had someone to talk to. I love talking, but I can't talk to people. I'm just own this shop and eventually become successful and have money. I'm gonna make money, dude. I'm gonna do it, right? So he's sitting here looking at the flower, and he just sees the petals start to shed and the stems start to wither, and he's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, she's dying, she's literally dying, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. He gets up from his little counter receptionary desk in his own shop, and he's starting to shut this shop down. He's shutting it down like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. They gotta follow it to figure out where she's at, because she's dying, and it seems like she's dying fast. Drives over, whatever magical means. I feel like implicating, or even the cinematic theater feels like putting in there. It doesn't matter. He starts making his way over there. He's running. He's gunning it. He's gunning it like a freaking Olympic track star. He's racing over there with this in hand, looking at it as he's running forward, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh. Because the flower's dying. So he runs over to her and her husband's home to save her, using this flower as his compass and guide to find her so he could do what he can to save her, because maybe he has a power or two that might be able to help. Like stabilize her at least before getting her to one of the priests or saints who might actually be able to heal and recover. Right? Because she helped him out of his lowest mental state, and he wants to be able to pay that back. And doing nothing is not very conducive to that. So he's running and chasing after, not because he necessarily loves her or wants to be with her indefinitely, like that, like a relationship of an intimate one anyway, but because like this validation, this connection I've never felt with anyone, I appreciate it and I don't want anything to change about it at all. But I do want to pay you back, because you have no idea what you just did for me by validating and allowing me to speak when I felt I needed to. Right? So he gets there, and all he sees when he busts through that final door, like he made it to the front gate and was able to bypass like the security and this and that, because like, hey, your young master, your young master needs me. He demanded, if you want to be on the bad side of your young master, just say so. I know how he treats you freaking plebeian slaves and servants and maids. You want to get on his bad side, don't let me through. Don't let me through. Let me through right now. Otherwise, I swear, you're not going to like it. You're going to be unhappy. Oh, geez. So he gets past them. He makes it inside. He's following the flower compass to get to her. Busts through this final door. Boom. Where? Addie, advocate, where are you? And when he busts through this door and he encounters the husband, all he sees is her standing over her lying body with the soul seed flower in his hand, demanding to know if devil's advocate Jackie here is the affair partner. So you can kind of imagine being like, oh, so the husband found Jackie's flower and probably confronted her about it, like, oh, you cheating on me? You being an unloyal dog? You nasty prowl? Like, what is, you tabaxing cat? Like, what do? You pissing on me? Trying to put a green hat on my head? Like, what's happening here? You must take me for a joke. So he got violent when he found it, and he beat her a little too hard, if you will. He beat on that girl. Now she laying there on the floor while this big old man is now asking one of her close childhood friends, like, you can effectively make a childhood friend. Close childhood friends is coming to save her and help her out. It's like, oh, you the Mr. Captain Save-A-Ho. Oh, it's you. So I'm gonna assume, let me know, is it you or is it somebody else who is trying to sleep with my wife? Which is it? Is it you? I bet it's you, huh? I'm gonna roll this flower around. Yeah. This flower seems to like you a lot. This soul flower seems to really be attracted to your direction. Interesting. So I'm gonna kill you now, because it's clear that you've been doing some sly deeds with my wife, and I don't appreciate it. Right? So the husband is getting angry, and he's like, yo, no, it's definitely you. It's because, like, Jackie is stunned. He's silent. He's fight, flight, or freeze, and he's just freezing up because that's his character. He's freezing up. He never expected, like, something like this, like the husband she loves so much, to treat her so darn dirty without any real evidence, because there shouldn't be evidence of stuff that never actually happened. So he's just mind boggled right now. Fight, flight, or freeze. He can't run away because he came here to save her. Yet he doesn't want to fight because that's not a part of his character. So he's freezing up here as the husband is confronting him, like, you cheating on my wife? You sleeping with my wife? You doing something with my wife? My wife, my wife, my wife, my. He's really getting in on it, and Jackie has no idea what the heck to do. But he's looking at this flower going away. He stops looking at the husband for, I swear, 2 seconds. And he's looking at how more and more petals are falling fast, and the flower itself is changing colors. He's looking at it, and his eyes go wide. And as he's looking away, the husband's like, oh, you want to play games and look at that flower. Is that her flower? So you really playing games with me? My wife ain't gonna give me her flower. She's gonna give some rando like you her flower and have me holding another man's flower. She bust that little compass glass, that Beauty and the Beast little glass holder of this magical flower here, cracks it on her skull, right? And now there's a pool starting to form around her head, around her body, and around the feet of her husband, the husband to Addie, the advocate. There's just this pool of red stuff as that just starts forming. As Jackie is staring at her flower, he looks back, he sees it. He sees this happening over there under the husband, who's still smashing the glass flower case of the soul seed on was once Addie Advocate. He's just smashing it. Jackie looks at it. He's stunned. He's frozen. Frozen 1 foot up, trying to step forward, but never touching the ground again. He's frozen. He's stuck. Absolutely horrified. He can't even move his face anymore, so he just shifts his eyes over. He shifts his eyes over to see her flower, and it's nothing but dust. Nothing but dust. And there, husband got angry and started smashing the Jackie's flower on Miss Advocate, Addie Advocate's head. All right, the husband's getting angry and he's smashing it as her flower turns all black and shreds to bits, leaving only the petals, the fallen petals left in Jackie's hand. The husband is still smashing Jackie's flower on the body of Addie Advocate as Jackie's flower in the husband's hand begins to grow and blacken. It's growing thorns. It's blackening. And it's just growing. It sparks these thorns that really start to seep into the husband's hand because the container, the compass that holds the flower is shattered now. It's broken. So the only thing left in this husband's hand is now growing thorns that are puncturing past his hand and fingers, stabbing into him. But the husband's got a good amount of anger, adrenaline pumping through him right now. So in the beginning, he doesn't really connect it because he can probably connect all the pain of his hand sensation being attributed to the shattered glass also stabbing into him as he's just doing this consistent motion. Right? Jackie's flower in the husband's hand just begins to grow and blacken as thorns start digging into the husband's hand and devouring his blood to nourish it, while emanating this steam till it starts burning hot to the touch. And then, only then, after it's draining his hand of all the blood in it and starts burning, does the husband kind of stand to realize, what is up with this flower? Let me let it go. This flower is really quite relentless. It's sticking to me. It's growing thorns in my hands. It's pretty painful. It's pretty hot. It's growing. It's trying to meld into my flesh right now, actually. That's pretty bad. It's pretty not so good. Ow. 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 And only when the husband's in pain and starts moving away from Addie Advocate's sleeping body does Jackie start to get unfrozen and step more forward to her, still with her compass in his hands, which is nothing but basically a snow globe of flower ashes and residue. He's holding it because he doesn't want to believe it. He's in denial right now, emotional distress, with a growing conviction that I hate absolutely everything right now. And he stands there paralyzed, looking down at Miss Addie's body, sleeping body here, with the petals in his hand. He scoops up what's left of it, holds it close like a prayer, before walking away with red eyes and a wicked grin as his flower begins to burn and explode. Where that little last line there of him walking away with the red eyes is showing that, yep, any and everything that once was Jackie is now gone. His flower is exploded. It's gone. It's over. There's no more Jackie. It's just the other guy inside, the devil's advocate with the red eyes, that demonic-esque feel, that look about him. It's only the devil's advocate here no more. So when that finally happens and the flower explodes, it leaves no survivors here. No more survivors, no more nothing. It's over. Jackie, or devil's advocate rather, he's walking out of this building, and he's walking away from the manor, and all of a sudden the whole manor, like someone dropped a tomahawk, boom! The whole building, everyone in it, tangled in garden vines and thorns. They were getting devoured by the flower, blown up the moment the flower itself explodes with Jackie's final convictions. Died with him inside that building. Now, Jackie's body, now inhabited by the devil's advocate and the devil's advocate alone, is walking away, and that is who has had the body that the main characters who have been so much very against. The devil's advocate in his body is the only version of Jackie Tonell Skelly anyone has ever seen since that day when Miss Advocate, Addie Advocate, and her husband died. Yeah, that place of ruins that they were getting all the letters and the rumors and all the documents to figure out these things about Jackie. Yeah, all that came from the house of Miss Addie Advocate, who had the letters and the documents she was sending and receiving from Jackie, her friend. All the information that the main characters got against the devil's advocate came from what was left of this horrible place of bad memories. Everything the main characters had was just leftovers, leaving just a crater of no survivors. And that is the TV show equivalent to what theatrical Cinematic Thursday Jackie Tonell Skelly is and was all about. Hope you enjoyed this rather long theatrical Thursday. Hope it wasn't too much for you. By all means, hit a like if you like and agree with anything this story had to set up and say. Comment down in that comment section below any questions, comments, or even concerns. I'll address them on a Millenia Mailman Monday. And go ahead, share it if you want more expose and you want more discussion and talk about this little storyline. And by all means, if you want to buy it or get some sort of rights to produce it and have my blessing or whatnot, go ahead, send an email to millenianmailman@gmail.com and we can discuss that personally. And by all means, subscribe, click the bell button if you never want to miss a single one of my videos. But I'll warn you, I will be posting every single day until I publish the actual official book. So, here, there, and anywhere, everywhere. Hey, that's just me. You're a Millenia Mailman. Peace.